What's going on YouTube? Welcome to my channel, the 10K Property Report. My name is Kay, and today I want to discuss with you how I found an old bank for sale on Zillow for under $10,000, okay? Without further ado, let's get it. So this is the actual listing, okay? And I'm revealing the address. I did send all of my newsletter folks this particular property, I think last week. So if you're interested in the free newsletter for unique finds like this and more, make sure you sign up. It's free. All right. I'll place the link in the description and I'll pin it in the comments as well. All right. So this is a deal. It's a bank. It's an old bank in Iowa, Grafton, Iowa. And they're selling it for $7,500. And real quickly, I'll click the picture so we can kind of go through the pictures and see what you can actually get. Now, I've actually, about 2 weeks ago, I did find a church as well for, I think it was $7,000 or $8,000 as well. So I find these unique finds, whether it be land, commercial properties such as this, or just simply residential properties. I do find those and I send those to the newsletter folks. Okay. So as you can see in the inside of the property, and stick around with me, I will highlight and discuss how my mind thinks about real estate and how I would use this as an opportunity to make something and create something potentially unique in this area if I were interested, right? But you do your own due diligence. All right, here we go. So you can see that it does need some repairs, right? It needs some work. And I want to say it looks like a basement. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if this is mold damage, fire damage, not necessarily sure. It's a little bit dark in there. And this appears to be the backyard. I'm not sure why this is pictured other than they're showing you that this is I guess the trailer from a truck. And maybe they're trying to highlight, hey, this is sold with the property. All right. So this is in Iowa once again. Let me go back to the listing so we can check it out. And I want to break down some information about this property. So it was built in 1913. It says the former bank building is in need of repairs, but is an excellent investment opportunity with tons of potential retail, office, apartment opportunities here with a small town living. Okay, so they do have, it's listed by a real estate agent. Make sure you always do your due diligence with agents as well, not just this one, any agent that you come across online, and make sure you look at the reputation and all of that. And if all is well, then you're good to go as far as the agent is concerned if you're interested in the property. And I always discuss in each and every one of my properties or videos, if you decide to buy a property under $10,000, just know that you will have to know how to do due diligence, okay? And what I did was a little bit of due diligence on this property, and I wanted to figure out a couple things. So how my mind works is if I were interested in this property, what I would really do is look at the tax assessors, okay? So if you're not familiar, tax assessors, basically it lists each and every single property within a county. And by the way, Grafton, Iowa, from my research, is Worth County in Iowa, okay? So after I looked at the tax assessors or the county assessors, I was able to identify a little bit more information about this property. So I've identified who the owner is, and I've also identified the zoning, which is what I would be interested in the event that I was interested in this property. I'll be interested in the zoning. So this is zoned from my understanding, and it says here it's zoned commercial, okay? So because it's zoned commercial, it was a former bank, you can do a lot more with a commercial property than just a single residential property or home, okay? So with knowing that, it does help with my decision in the event that I weren't interested in this. However, I'm not necessarily interested, okay? But you may be, okay? So I gave you the address, so you may be interested. Definitely reach out if you are interested to the realtor. I have no connection to the realtor, but I just wanted to highlight something unique and under $10,000. But always question, why is it under $10,000? Okay, that's always a question that you must ask yourself, all right? Another thing that I saw is that this particular property was purchased at a foreclosure or a sheriff's sale. So it seems, and this was purchased in December, it seems that the owners of this property, this bank, did purchase it at a sheriff's sale. And I seen that on the previous page that I went to. And that lets me know a lot of information as well, because it could be a quitclaim deed in the event that they didn't clean up the deed or quiet the title, which if that's the case and they did quiet the title, everything's fine. You can get insurance on the property and proceed. However, this is all a part of your due diligence, okay? So I don't know whether they quieted the title or not. Nonetheless, you need to do your due diligence and make sure that you look at each and everything. By the way, I do have a tax auction course that I offer. This is on my other channel, Money Moves with Kay, if you're interested, where I talk about how to find these tax auction properties, such as the owner to this property, right? These folks purchased on a tax auction and they just resold. Simple as that, okay? And yeah, so if you're interested, I'll place that in the description. It's a tax auction blueprint. And it goes from A to Z for beginners. How in the world do you find these tax auctions where you don't even have to go on Zillow and you can beat the competition and purchase properties for pennies on the dollar? I'll link that in the description. But back to the property. $7,500 for a bank, an old bank in Iowa, is very unique. Now, how does my mind work even further? Well, I say, what if I purchase this? And I actually saw a family that did this recently. I saw a couple families. One family turned a school into a home. Another family's turned an old fire station into a home as well. So you could turn this into a home in the event that all clears and is structurally sound. And, you go through all the procedures in order to ensure that it would be suitable for a home. You could also do an Airbnb, very unique Airbnb or unique space for folks to stop and stay at your property while they're in Iowa. Okay. I know no one in Iowa. However, if you are in the area and you know about this property, make sure you comment below, and also comment below what you would do with this property. So I listed some of the things that pique my interest, such as the zoning of the property, to maybe turn it into something different or keep it the same, but just transform it into, a living space potentially, right? So comment below what you think this property should be used for. Should the person who owns this or buys this, should they just renovate it and, maybe make it another financial institution again? What should they do? Or what would you do, I should say? All right. I think that's the end of my video. I wanted to highlight, this is another thing I do want to show you. So at the very bottom, I think I showed you guys this the last time. I know I showed it on my other channel, Money Moves with Kay. But under property, you have lot, details, accessibility, and parking. And all I did was scroll down, right? So you can check out the parcel number. The parcel number is here, and you could place that into the tax assessors as well to pull up the property. Now, I use this number for identifying properties very quickly. I correlate it to having like a social security number for a property. It's just a number that is tagged onto a property to allow you to find it very easily on tax assessors, so you can do even further research and you can have a good buy in the event that you're interested, okay? Please always do your due diligence. This video is for educational purposes only. I am not telling you to buy this property. In fact, I would really, really look into it and see how this may fit into your portfolio. I don't know, or may not, all right? Until next time, guys, you stay blessed. Peace.